homosexuality was considered a pathology. A pathology. But some gay white psychiatrists and gay psychologists got together and changed the diagnosis to where now it is that now the only time you are sick if you are gay is if you want to change. If being gay causes you a problem, you're sick. If you have adjusted as a gay, you're a healthy individual. Not only that, in this week's Time, I just picked up on the plane, this week's Time magazine, they are now saying incest should be accepted. That this week, I'm on tape, and this week, and check out everything I say, in this week's Time magazine, they are giving a case that incest should be acceptable. Say that because the same type of prejudices have been shown against incest that had been shown against homosexuality. The same illogical taboos and some very heavy people are doing it. See, but we always knew that's what they would get. We don't have time to tell you, but I'm going to tell you something. If you want to know the whites, go all the way back to Plato, Aristotle, and all those. See, they always were intrigued with one thing. They were always asexual people in that sense. The only reason they used women was for procreation. Anytime you belong to a fraternity or sorority, you belong to a homosexual union. Now wait a minute. Hold it. Oh, you mean you know? Look, the Greeks had those. If you read Plato said there's nothing in the world as pleasant and as pretty as a little plump boy. That's what those orgies they talk about in Greek was men and young boys. It's stated in all that literature. And the one thing they could not achieve, and that's been fascinating. That's what the whites have been fascinated with all their existence, is how the only difference between them and the gods was that the gods were what? Immortal. And so I'm telling you, so all through history, Plato, Aristotle, and all have been based on that question, how do we become immoral? So now they're coming up with cloning. Right. Cloning. See, where you can take the specimen of a skin of a male, insert it in a fertilized egg, and then the baby, because of now, where they've gone now in terms of genetic structure, and the child, except for the influences of environment, will be the exact image of the person who you took the specimen of skin from. They don't even need women. You will see the time when children will be born and placed in men's bellies. I will promise you that. See, and we are sitting here, not even aware of what's going on. Not even aware. And so when you get into genetic engineering, this is what it means, and what they will do, and what they're doing is, and that's why psychology becomes so important. Because what you have to do is access the mood of people. So what they did today in Time magazine is the first shot. They simply threw it out there. They threw it's already out. Now look, in order to get something going, you first must get people to accept it as a thought. No matter whether you are feasibility, no matter whether you accept it or not, that's a thought. And that's what happened to another book you should read, and it shows you the thinking of the man is harm. Let me give you a couple of books you should read. You should read Chancellor Williams' Destruction of Black Civilization. It's on the list. So that was on the list. Another book you should read is Thinking the Unthinkable, Thermonuclear Warfare, Herman Kahn. KJ, let me tell you why you should read that book. Because Thinking the Unthinkable, Thermonuclear Warfare. A guy named Herman Kahn, one of the guys who owned who's in the RAND, those think tanks, wrote that. Once he wrote that book, that is when the United States and Russia began to think about dealing with thermonuclear weapons. Once it was out there. It's the same, let me end this up, it's the same with the 4-minute mile. No one could run the 4-minute mile because it strictly was a psychological barrier. One man ran the 4-minute mile, and within 6 months, people were running the 4-minute mile like it never existed. So I'm saying one of the things you must do as black students and black faculty is begin to liberate your mind. It's something about thinking. There's something about thinking that you just can't get enough of it. You know what I mean? It's take a thought and just push it to its ultimate limit. That is really something. I can't just tell you how good it is. It really is. Back to Rick, he was asking about when will we reach that point where we will share everything we have with our people. Let me tell you, the first thing again is back to the rugged individualistic way we are trained. That's one reality. But the other reality is just because you have intellectual insight, one of the reasons we have a problem here, and most of us, is most of you in this room really believe that there's a system out here oppressing us. And that's faulty thinking. We haven't even gotten past that. So you talk to black people, yeah, Bible, the system is against us. No. White people are against us. The one thing, if nothing else you get out of this, there ain't no system. It ain't nebulous. It ain't invisible. It's out there. It's a strange thing that you never hear white people talking about systems. You hear white people talking about people. We must kill them. We must keep them out. Not never. What is it the Carter came up with? Not never one. What is it? No, not even one. You know what you're talking about? Us. No, not even say no system. No, not even one. You know, in other words, that's one of the problems. Let me tell you how even in revolutionary times, and why we are brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a good example of menticide. It's one of the perfect examples of menticide I know. Let me give it to you. Here we have a situation where brothers and sisters have been fighting over 15 years to free the land. The moment they get the land freed, they let the same man stay head of the army who had been shooting them and killing them all those years. No white country would do that. The whites would have. Then let me give you another example. All of you fell prey to. Idiot men. They convinced us. They convinced us. The white press, without seeing one picture of black people dead, not one. You have never seen one picture of Ugandans dead. Not one. But they have created in mind, Idiot men was the most dangerous man in Africa. Yet, Idiot men, every picture you saw, he was walking among his people, no guns, nothing on, no soldiers. Carter can't do that. Carter can't even leave the White House. You know, and yet, we not only were we convinced, we didn't even raise a question about another black country going north to fight another black country rather than south to fight South Africa. But they have destroyed the one man, and you all forgot. Everybody forgot what Idiot Amin did. Let's tell you what his crime was. What you all forgot. Number one, he put all the whites out of his country. First time in history. That's been done. All the whites out. You know, and brought in black Americans. Brought in black Americans. Not only did he do that, you all forgot about how he had those white men carrying him on their shoulder. You know, it was amazing that we forgot all about that. You see? Anytime you make them do what they do, they're going to get rid of you. And so they convinced us that Idiot Amin was the most dangerous. What I'm saying to you, it's not enough, brother. It's not enough just to talk about intellectual insight. There has to be a feeling. And one of the things, it goes back to the cause. We simply do not want to accept the fact that we are being opposed by people. Back to that race war. Once you accept that, the CIA has a saying on this building. It's not marked. The CIA building in Langley, Virginia is not marked. It does not have but one sign on it. And you always know when you're there. You know what it says? Seek ye the truth, and it shall set you free. You know that CIA building in Langley, Virginia, when you said that on that building. No sign CIA, nothing like that. Size. We still say, Bobby, system. There's a system doing this, Bobby. Once you say there's a system, you can wipe out Janet, because you say, see, she's part of the system. She's part of the system. Got to get rid of all those blacks who's part of the system. You see, that's the mental side.
Should black people be more individually oriented or collectively oriented?
The rugged individualism got to stop. What I would suggest, because what will happen is you get angry like Harold is. You finally say blacks are nothing and just walk away from the whole thing. There's enough people in this room to turn Atlanta Junior College around. The black facts. Enough people in this room. See, everybody still in this room looking at each other as individuals. You had enough people in this room today who would say, listen, let's meet again next week. Same time. And we're going to simply say, what is the code of behavior for black folks at Atlanta Junior College? And we're going to enforce it. And we're going to enforce it. And I'm not, but not as individuals. See, you got an individual, somebody going to get killed. You see, but if sisters say, hey, man, I don't deal with that stuff. I don't deal with you with that. And brothers say, I'm like, anytime, let me tell you something very, very simple I do. Like you were talking about Jabbar, from now on, it hurts me to my heart. Anytime Jabbar comes on TV, my son, who's 7 years old, will cut off the TV. Jabbar is a dead man from this point on. He will no longer be supported. Any product that supports the Lakers game, we will not buy at my house any longer. And I'm saying at Atlanta Junior College, there's enough professors, enough faculty and students in this room to say, hey, we are going to have a code of behavior for black junior college students. And we don't mean going down there turning over no card table, because I believe those brothers down there might be a little better than some of y'all. I ain't under no illusion about this stuff. But what happens is peer pressure becomes very important. But what is happening, everybody comes in and agrees it has to be done, but only maybe you and 2 or 3 others want to do something about it.